So, if you were a kid or knew a kid anytime in the past 15 years or so, you've probably played with one of these things or seen somebody play with them. This is a fidget spinner. And if you were playing with one of these in, say, the early noughties, 2008 or so, and you're now a little older, there's a chance that you might have something like this, a pocket knife, contemporary pocket knife that you fidget with a lot, just like you did with your fidget spinner, or you may know somebody who does. And there are some reasons for that, besides the fact that, you're now old enough that a pocket knife is appropriate, something for you to own. And maybe a fidget spinner is a little bit less appropriate uh, for something for you to own. But these things are kind of satisfying a similar urge, um, and they're doing it actually with exactly the same technology. There's something inside this fidget spinner that's also inside this pocket knife, uh, and inside a lot of other contemporary pocket knives, that makes this feel kind of like this in terms of being able to get some satisfaction out of it from fidgeting with it. Um, so inside a fidget spinner, there are usually four of these caged ball bearing mechanisms. And you can see this here. See the balls inside there? As this thing spins around, you see the little ball bearings moving inside there. Okay. Yeah, see the little balls moving around? Okay, so there's one inside here, right? That allows this thing to spin freely with very little friction, uh, and to be kind of a satisfying thing to fidget with. And, it can be fun for anybody to fidget with. People who are neurodivergent, who have things like autism or even ADHD, uh, are going to find things like this maybe a little bit more satisfying than neurotypical people would. It's a little bit soothing, or it sort of allows your distraction to have an outlet. Um, if you're in one of those neurodivergent categories, but fidget spinners are fun for everybody. Um, Pocket knives probably also fun for most people if you're not, you know, uh, clumsy and gonna cut yourself, or in a situation where you might be intimidating other people or causing um, discomfort just by having something that's could be considered a weapon, although it can certainly be used for a lot of non-violent purposes. Um, might not be as appropriate to be fidgeting with one of these things in some situations, but if you're by yourself working at a desk, uh, fidgeting with a pocket knife is something that a lot of people do these days. And in fact, if you're into pocket knives and you're watching YouTube videos about pocket knives, one of the things they're going to talk about all the time is the fidget factor, right? And how fun is it to play with a certain kind of pocket knife, flip it open and flip it closed, and uh, does it have a fidget factor, right? And a lot of pocket knives do, right? A lot of the new ones have that same caged ball bearing mechanism in them. They can be opened in different ways, right? And you got this one's got thumb studs, and it's got a top flipper, right? This one's got a back flipper, right? Button lock. This has got them too. This is the very popular right now. Andrew Demko designed 80-20.5. This has got caged ball bearings in a pivot. And yeah, it's common now. It didn't used to be this way. Most pocket knives weren't as fidget friendly as the contemporary ones are. If you had an old buck knife, something like this, you have to open it with 2 hands and then operate the lock and close it safely with 2 hands. Right? You couldn't flick this thing open and closed. Some knives were spring assisted or ran on washers, and like this Spyderco. This does not have ball bearings in the pivot, but it's still pretty fidget friendly. But this is a high end knife, right? I mean, this knife's going to cost you $150. I mean, it's not the most expensive knife, but $150 is more than you're going to spend on a fidget toy in most cases. But something like this is a modern buck knife, right? This is the same company, Buck, but now this one's got caged ball bearing mechanism in the pivot, and it is not expensive and highly fidgetable, right? I'm going to go ahead and open this up so you can see what I'm talking about with these ball bearings. I'm going to use this little Torx tool. Let's see, might be the smaller sized. Yeah. It's going to need both of the other ones. So the T6 Torx screw for down here. And the T8 or T10 for the pivot screw. It's coming. It's coming. All right. And there we go. Right there is what I'm getting at. There's actually 2 of them in every pocket knife, and there are typically 4 of them. Well, not every pocket knife, but most pocket knives these days. And there are 4 of them in most fidget spinners. And these are some oil lubricant in there, but yeah, that's what's going on here. You got little this little disc that has trapped in it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ball bearings, and that allows the blade to spin pretty smoothly, pretty low friction. And that's why fiddling with a pocket knife is pretty satisfying, and that some people who grew up with fidget spinners might now have graduated to playing with pocket knives. All right. Well, that's just a little explainer. Uh, if you're interested in pocket knives, I have a ton of videos on pocket knives. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.